Hey, I want to share with you some of the points I shared at a Roseville Chamber of Commerce last week. And I found that reframing how we think about AI in our culture and in our businesses can help a lot of people. There's a lot of fear when it comes to AI. There are people losing their jobs. People don't know what to expect, don't know how to prep. And a lot of times when fear comes into the discussion, we tend to lose the ability to come up with creative solutions to our problems. So, my purpose in sharing these points at the chamber event and my purpose in sharing this with you is because we can reframe this. We can look at AI very differently. And I wanted to share this slide, had like title slide with you because I think it's pretty terrible. I asked Claude to give me a headline for the presentation. It had my outline, it had all the points I wanted to share, and it gave me this slide, AI for Business, from Fear to Fortune. Given the context, the audience I had, there was the CEO of the chamber, there were a few of the board members, some business people in there. I don't think this was an appropriate or accurate way of summarizing the presentation. So sometimes you get really terrible examples from AI, and that's one of the reasons I kept this title slide when I did my presentation. However, I want to jump into a story of fear from my own entrepreneurship life because I think it's analogous to what's happening with AI in business right now. After 10 years of being an entrepreneur, my business partner and I made a decision to not allow fear to drive our decisions. We had made tons of mistakes. We had allowed fear up to that point to drive our decisions, but we started asking the question, what if I don't fear the results? What if I'm open to whatever happens and I do not allow fear to drive us? That principle was put to the ultimate test last year. We had bought a printing shop and it was a huge investment, a lot of money for most people, and it was bleeding money. And I'm giving these examples because I want people to understand the context in which fear emerged for us. This person in our business, a team lead, was handling estimates, and I didn't know how to handle estimates. My business partner didn't. We bought the business, a business that should have run on its own. We paid a high multiple for it for that reason. But we didn't understand certain types of things, and we started to notice certain things. Things were falling through the cracks. There were mistakes on orders. Quotes weren't followed up on. There were things that were presented in a way that could be construed as lying. And when we started to notice these things, we realized we have to get more visibility into the business and then make a decision about what was going on. Fear at that point told me regarding this team lead that was handling a part of the business that I did not know how to handle. Fear was telling me, you can't let her go. The business will collapse without her. But our values were telling us differently. We want a healthy team, no matter what business we acquire and buy and grow. We always want to have a healthy business. We are not going to allow any types of people who build toxic environments. That's against our business model. We also don't want to micromanage people. So if I have to follow up on everything someone does, that's not a right employee. So those were part of the values we had. And in the moment when we started to notice all these mistakes and issues and concerns, fear kept us initially from making a decision, but we decided to make the right decision and let this person go. It was pretty chaotic the first few weeks after we let her go, and it, it's hard to describe in words, right? When you go through those experiences. But within about 60 days, there was like almost a 180 degree change in the business, the quality of the conversations, the types of people we were working with, the way we were starting to handle issues. And I flew there too, because the business is out of town. I spent a lot of days studying estimates, and within 2 to 3 weeks, I learned enough to be able to evaluate the estimating process and improve it a little bit in the business. So fear would have kept me from making that choice that really helped the business. And I think it's very possible the business would have gone under without making this decision. So why am I sharing this story when I'm talking about AI? Because what you can't see is costing you money right now. So, and what you're afraid to try might be exactly what saves your business. This is true most of the time, right? AI is a tool that can help you in so many ways, and I'll share one big idea with you before we end this recording. But so often we don't see specific things. We don't see hidden gaps or issues in our business, and that is really costing us a lot. But then very often what we're afraid to try is the thing that needs to save our business. I feel there's an analogy here between my story and AI in business. AI has this ability to help you see your business from a lot more angles, and I'll share about that in just a second. Before I do, I just want to remind people that when we talk about AI, right, you have the foundational large language models, the LLMs. I often use AI generally, but most people use chat assistants, ChatGPT, Claude, Grok, XAI, or search assistants, Google AI Mode, Bing Copilot, Perplexity. Those are the big ones that people use. What matters is what happens at the LLM level, right? If you want to make sure your business is found by the AI chat assistants or search assistants, you have to pay attention to what the LLM knows about you. Before I jump into sharing one big idea with you, I want to remind you that whenever disruptions happen, and you can think of the disruption going from paper maps to Google Maps. Whenever disruptions happen, the users get a better user experience. The users are taken care of. But then also the result is new industries. You have things like Uber, DoorDash, location marketing, real estate apps, digital marketing, all kinds of types of services grew or emerged as a result of the smartphone Google Map introduction, right? Very so often, right, we get stuck on looking at things as they are. We cannot even imagine what will happen when a new technology gets implemented. Like the person using paper maps could not have imagined what it means to have traffic feedback on your map app. That's pretty amazing, right? I can avoid certain areas as I'm driving because the app tells me the traffic level. And that's something that helps me as a user, but it also something that marketers and other companies can use because of GPS uh, apps and items. We can also improve a lot of the transportation services that are offered nowadays. So there's so many things we can come up with. When it comes to AI, the same thing is true. It's very difficult for us to imagine the types of services and roles and jobs that will emerge as a result of the AI adoption. But we know there will be, right, there will be new industries, new results. So I want to encourage you to start looking at everything with curiosity, with wonder, because we don't really know what to expect. We can predict, we can make prepare, but we don't really know. If you remember Ford's famous quote, if I had asked them what they wanted, they would have said faster horses. AI is introducing something kind of like the vehicle, right? The Model T compared to horses or horse and buggies. So whenever there are new things, new technology introduced, there are downsides. There are more harmful accidents or, let's say, loss of job in certain industries. But then there are new industries that develop and emerge. So it's true that history is telling us that whenever new technologies were introduced, new accidents happen. Think the progression from horse to horse with buggies, And then going from horse to horse with buggies, you probably had more accidents. Actually, history tells us we did. Then you went from horse buggies to cars, automobiles, right? That also led to different types of accidents and probably more accidents because you had a bigger adoption. So I want to jump into just make one point. The AI global adoption has surprised everyone. No one has seen the likes of this like around the world spread. And the point is AI is here to stay. So we can fear it or we can figure out what we can do about it. We can prepare, we can learn as much as we can. We can start looking at ways to protect our teams, our team members, our communities, and together we can come up with solutions because we do know disruptions cause issues initially. So this is here to stay. I think that's what this graph tells us. So before I end, I want to share this really, really insightful point that has helped me reframe how I think about AI. When two people talk, a lot of times they can only pay attention to 3 to 5 dimensions in the conversation. Maybe the tone, maybe the words, maybe the body language. But when AI is looking and scanning a conversation or any type of content, it can look at 50 plus dimensions, whether those are linguistics, whether those are emotional, strategic, structural, behavioral, cognitive, right? The way people frame things, the way the words people use, all of those things tell you a little bit about the person. Sometimes, if you can imagine a team meeting, an HR meeting where you're talking to a team member who is not doing the right thing, they're slacking, it's very easy for the HR manager to miss maybe the emotional baggage that's brought to the context of the conversation, maybe the pacing of the wording the person uses can give you some insight into what might be going on. What AI can review that for you, right? AI tools can review the transcript, the conversation, can review the video in a way that it can pull these things out because our brain is not able to cover all of these different dimensions, but AI is able. So this is one example, right, in which we can see how AI can transform our meetings, the type of information we extract from all of our content, whether that's a sales meeting or a team meeting or a video sell letter, whatever type of content you have, AI can help you look at it differently. Because remember, what you can see is often costing you money. In my story, with a team lead that wasn't doing the right thing, what I didn't see cost me close to 6 figures. That's a high price to pay for not seeing within your business. And I want to share just one case study. I did a 1 hour webinar with a friend. It was a conversation with other people, entrepreneurs, and we were just going back and forth. We were just talking about AI. And guess what? I was able to using some pretty advanced prompts, I was able to extract a lot of information. It was 1 hour webinar that I honestly didn't even think was that great. But AI was able to extract some of this information and put it into signature frameworks, into practical application frameworks. You could see the daily AI integration method, the business communication optimizer. And then you know, all of us know, right, after you've been in an industry for a while, there are unconscious competency insights that we have, right? There is a conscious competency, the unconscious competency quadrant, if you've studied that at any point. So when it comes to the conversation I had with my friend, ChatGPT and Claude were able to pull out some insights that I wasn't even aware of, or I probably would not have framed them as some type of mastery or a framework to optimize. The question reframing mastery, I just gave a simple example, and the AI tool actually pulled that as one of those unconscious competency insight. There was the constraint-based optimization. I was talking how we use constraint to optimize the business. And again, this is just me putting the transcript through these prompt presentations in Claude or the chat in ChatGPT, and I got all of this really, really helpful type of information that I can use it to train my team, that I can use it to attract clients, that I can sell as content to grow our revenue. And this is just one example because AI has this ability to scan 50, 60, probably more than 50, 60 dimensions. That's just the ones that we could come up with. So imagine the power you have at your fingertips when it comes to your financial information, your team information, your organizational chart, whatever part of your business or your life. You can use AI tools to really evaluate and uncover a lot of insights, extract a lot of insights. So my encouragement is to look at AI as a wonder tool, as a curiosity tool. It's really a pattern recognizer, right? It connects and uncovers patterns, and that's what you can use, right, to be able to it's like having your assistant or team of assistants behind you to make sure you don't miss things, to make sure you don't lose money because you can't see certain things like I did in the print shop example. So I want to encourage you, start to reframe how you see AI because we live at a pretty interesting, surprising time, and your business can look a lot differently if you just start using AI to uncover or to look at what's going on in your business, to be able to see things that you might be missing right now.